And so what they're doing is they're isolating our consciousness in this narrow band and then programming that isolated consciousness with a perception of reality. This is the human world. And it's because of this programmed perception that people are so, not all of them, but it is changing, but the vast majority are so predictable. I call them press enter people. I go around the world, bloody used to, and I see different cultures, but in certain situations, you see people reacting the same way. It's like a program. It is a software program. But this here, there's a vortex here, which they call it in the East a chakra, wheel of light, because actually on an energetic level, that's what it looks like. And this is the true spiritual heart. It has an effect on the physical heart, but this is the true heart. You know, the connection that people have between the heart and love, it doesn't come from the physical heart, although they do that, obviously, in the symbol. It comes from this. And what is love? People think love is, oh, I love you, darling. Well, that means, that's, one level of it. But love is beyond that. Love will always do what it knows to be right, irrespective, indeed it doesn't even consider consequences, because to consider consequences would be to consider not doing what you know to be right. And love, the heart connection that takes you out of this five sense reality, where you can access other levels of perception that gives you a much greater understanding of the reality that you are experiencing. When you operate only through the five senses, you are in this world and you are of this world. When you operate from here, you are in this world physically, but you are of a much more expanded world in terms of your perception of the reality you're experiencing. So when people go through this heart opening process, suddenly they look at the same world they were looking at before, looks totally bloody different. You've been through it, I've been through it. It's like, this is not the same world that I was in before, because your perception, your perspective is now expanded of what you are actually looking at. And so
love is the answer, David.
Yeah, when you open this, it's not just, like I say, love in the sense of people perceive love, which has been totally, love has been totally discredited in that sense. You have to use words like unconditional love to get anywhere near it. You will look at a situation and you will say, what do I know to be right here? And you do it. There's no, but what are the consequences for me? Because to ask that question would be to consider not doing what you know to be right. And love, in its true sense, would never do that. So over the last 30 years, no matter what's been thrown at me, and I'm not saying that, I'm a special person or anything like that. Anyone can do this, because we're all expressions of each other. Therefore, we're all equally of the same potential. I haven't looked at a situation and thought, well, I'm going to get abuse if I say this. I'm going to get ridicule if I say this. Because this says, do you believe it's right to say what you're saying, to write what you're writing? Yes. Well, do it then. And so when we look at the situation that we face now, this would not go through a process of what are the consequences for me. It would say, what do I know that I should do? And it just does it. And I can tell you from, long experience now, that doing what you know to be right is not as difficult as you think it is